Well, that's the first question is maybe you could sum up for us how the band got back together again.
Well, we've always been good friends, and we've always had that desire to work with what you would call the classic Yes. Over the last couple of years, me and Chris got together, did some writing, and talked about Rick Wakeman back in the band and Steve Howe, and we just made some phone calls. It's as simple as that. I think it was more me and Chris really getting back together again as a writing force. We hadn't done it for about 10 years, and it was a good time.
So it's almost as if Yes has never really broken up or called it quits. I mean, it's always there. It's always ready to be reactivated.
Yeah, it's an evolving. I always call it like an amoeba. It keeps changing shape and keeps going. You know, we strive to make good music, and sometimes it's very hip and commercial, and other times it's sort of dormant in the public's eye, but in the business sort of way. But from the fans, they stick with the band. They love what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of reminiscent of King Crimson. That's another outfit that you really can't imagine calling it quits for good.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a unique concept in the rock era, so to speak, because I mean, bands are supposed to kind of come and go. They're supposed to be they're supposed to have finite lifespans.
Right.
But obviously that doesn't apply to bands such as yourself.
Sorry, just one second.
Uh-huh.
A little bit of salt. We just, sorry. Sorry, carry on, Steve.
Yeah, there was, like I said, it's sort of a concept alien to the rock era. Bands are supposed to have finite lifespans, and obviously this doesn't apply.
Well, it's strange because I really feel like I was given the chance to be in music initially, and then I got in the chance to be in a great band, and then I got the chance to discover my potential as a musician. So, I opened up a lot of different avenues musically, when I think if we'd have just stuck with Yes and tried to make hit records and stuff, that would have been the end of the band. But because we all split off, Steve Howe doing Asia, Rick Wakeman doing his solo projects, me doing John and Vangelis, and Guitaro. So we all sort of had the chance to learn more about music and the career that can be a longer career than most. And that's why getting back together is a sort of very good sign of maturity. That we can still make good music together. That was the most important thing. I didn't want to get together and just make an album of the old 70s music. I wanted to do some new music at the same time. So we recorded about 2 hours of new music. Some of it is on this new album, and then some of it will come on the next album that we do, which will be part 2 of this live show.
Part 2?
Yeah, we're doing part 2, so that basically the album that people have heard now is out, and then next February or March there'll be part 2, which will be Close to the Edge and You and I, Turn of the Century, all songs from the 70s, plus an hour of new music.
Somebody on the internet was quipping that you guys had promised to reunite 22 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that true?
We did.
Really?
We had this sort of seance in Baltimore, and it was after the show. We said, God willing, if we're still alive in 20 years' time, that was in 1977, and we said if we're still together mentally and physically, we should get together just to make an album. And we sort of wrote it down on a piece of paper and signed everything, and I don't know what happened to the piece of paper, but it's somebody's. I think Chris probably has it, because he always keeps things, And here we are doing the same thing, getting ready to spend the next 3 years together into the next millennium.
Mm-hmm. Are you the type of person that always sort of holds on to relationships for a long time? Are you sort of a long-termer with your friends and business associates?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know too many people in the business. I don't know too many people in the musical side. You meet people like Sting and Stevie Wonder and famous people. And it's always great to meet these people, but you never, you're not going to go out for dinner and stuff and hang with like these stars. So I've always thought of myself as a writer and a spiritual person. So I'm more interested in writing music about the future and symphonic music and even operas and things like that. That's the future of my life,
Mm-hmm. How about the work you've done outside of Yes? Are you looking back in retrospect on what you've done outside of Yes? What work are you most proud of, or is it all the same? Just like
well, most definitely working with Vangelis was a great experience because he was like a teacher,
mm-hmm.
and Kitaro was really great because we were very much the same person, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working with. Now I'm working with local symphonic musicians and piano players and classical piano people, and so I'm doing lots of different kinds of